You might have read news that there's yet another crocodile sighting in Singapore, this time in Sentosa again. So, why are we seeing so many crocodiles and should we be worried? Watch on and you will know. So, what happened again? So here's what happened on Wednesday evening, 6 May. Someone spotted a crocodile in the waters of Sentosa Cove. The National Parks Board and Sentosa Development Corporation got alerted and they immediately activated a joint search team to look for it. As a precaution, water activities like swimming and kayaking are now banned at Siloso, Palawan and Tanjong Beach until further notice as of time of this recording. The beaches themselves are still open though, but please don't go in the water. SDC also said they have stepped up patrols and monitoring across the island's beachfront areas and reminded everyone to follow the safety signage on the ground. Here's why this sounds like deja vu. This is the second crocodile sighting at Sentosa in 2026. The first was on 31st January, also at Sentosa Cove. That time, water activities were paused for about a week before resuming on 8 February after no further sightings. But if you're like me, you might be thinking, is Singapore being invaded by crocodiles? Before that, let's look at the number of reported crocodile sightings this year. Just in 2026 alone, here are the crocodile sightings that have been reported. On 31st January, there was one in Sentosa Cove, which is the first reported case for Sentosa. On 1st February, there was a sighting at Marina South Pier. On 3rd February, there was a sighting at Changi Naval Base, which our Navy spotted. Throughout March to April, there were multiple sightings around Pulau Ubin. On 29 April, there was a sighting at Keppel Bay, whereby residents and refreshers at Keppel Bay even got an advisory. And of course, we've got the latest one in Sentosa Cove again. This is not an exhaustive list of crocodile sightings, as these are merely reported sightings. Therefore, crocodile sightings are now as common as influencer scandals, appearing at least once a month. Oh wait, maybe these influencers prank the crocodiles so that they will take the small... no lah, cannot be lah, think if it's them they might prank cause polo tea at Sentosa instead In addition, Pulau Ubin residents told Lianhe Zaobao that sightings became more frequent over the past month. One 73-year-old fisherman said he encountered a crocodile just 5 meters away while fishing for crabs near the mangrove. So, are crocodiles invading Singapore? Well, no. If you are looking to advertise your business in this channel, we can help you. There are guaranteed views and many big brands have trusted us. Just click on the link in the description. Here's the thing, crocodiles are not invading Singapore. They have always been here, which I'll explain later. So why are we seeing more reports? Well, it's likely that we are seeing more reports and not seeing more crocodiles. You see, more Singaporeans are visiting natural areas, and secondly, everyone has a smartphone now, so every sighting becomes news within minutes. And thirdly, social media now amplify every single encounter. So reported sightings are up, but it doesn't necessarily mean the crocodile population suddenly exploded. So why do we have crocodiles in Singapore, and where do they live? The species that we have here is the estuarine crocodile, also known as the saltwater crocodile, and this is the no joke kind of crocodile. According to NParks, it holds the record for being the world's largest crocodile species, capable of growing up to 6 to 7 meters long. That's basically as long as a small bus. And here's the kicker, they are native to Singapore. This means they were here way before us, way before Stamford Raffles, way before HDB flats, and way before MRT stations. We are the invaders, not the crocodiles. You see, these crocodiles naturally live in the Straits of Johor, the body of water between Singapore and Malaysia, and the Singapore Strait, which is down south between Singapore and the Indonesian islands. They love brackish water that makes of salt and fresh water you find in mangrove and coastal areas. So if you want to see one in the wild, the easiest place is Sungai Buloh Wetland Reserve up north. Visit during low tide and your chances are quite good. There are warning signs everywhere reminding visitors not to wander off the designated path. So yeah, like what I say, seeing them is actually quite common lah. But here's the thing, crocodiles can swim, like really swim. They can swim long distance across both salt and fresh water, which is how some of them end up in random places like Sentosa, Marina South, or even East Coast Park, making the news. Despite them looking bulky and clumsy, they can move surprisingly fast on both land and water. Of course, they might swim back, so seeing a crocodile in areas like Sentosa is akin to seeing a drunk man in the train. Yes, it's disruptive and scary, but it's kind of not so unexpected and you will likely go off soon. In fact, you might even see crocodile on land. In March 2025, a driver in Lim Chu Kang spotted a crocodile literally lying on the side of the road along Neo Teo Crescent at 1 PM. Like seriously. So, what should you do when you see one? Firstly, don't feed it and expect it to shit out a Lacoste polo tee for you lah. Under Singapore's Wildlife Act, feeding any wildlife, including crocodiles, is prohibited. Stay calm, back away slowly. Don't approach, don't provoke, don't feed. Then call NParks Animal Response Centre at 1-800-476-1600 to report it. Now, crocodiles might be scary, but do you know that its mini version, the lizard, is actually useful in our house? In fact, having lizards in our house is not just useful, but very important too. Watch this to know why. Also, if you want to advertise with us, even as a standalone video, do contact us. Our website is in the description, or you can scan this QR code. Thank you for spending almost 5 minutes with me. I really appreciate it and hope you learned something.